double crosses and triple crosses, and who can you trust, and who is going to turn on you with a moment's notice, all in tonight's Emerald City. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing The Villains That Become, Emerald City, Episode 9. We're almost to the end of this, and oh boy does it heat up with, like I said, double crosses and big surprises, and just a little more of pushing of the envelope as the war gets kicked into high gear, and we start off right there. But let's throw this up there and get into specifics tonight. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. And boom, the episode pretty much picks up right where last week left off. The wizard is standing outside the Lady Eve's tower and saying, hey, look, we're here to pick up the guns. And the guys with the guns are pointing the guns. And a couple of things. First, the level of technology in those guns are pretty amazing for people that didn't know guns a few weeks ago. And two, yeah, I don't think that was in any way, shape, or form a surprise. Lady Eve decides to keep the payment and the guns. There's no need for her to give anything to the wizard. Let his kingdom face the wrath this time. Let it fall apart. But, of course, the same way we could have seen that coming super easy, so too could the wizard. And the wizard planned for it with a Trojan horse. With Trojan gold chests. Something like that. Meanwhile, since I said last time that the thing with the oil can was the strangest thing I thought I'd ever say, how's this one for you? So we pick up with Dorothy running from the Scarecrow, who's trying to kill her because he loves Glenda the Good Witch, and she's only saved because Toto jumps him and then she's stabbed. Yeah, wow, that's quite a mouthful of crazy. But that's okay, because the crazy train keeps coming, because then we're going to talk about good old Wicked Witch of the West, and the fact that she was able to be healed by Tib, because Tib's now got the power of the Wicked Witch of the East, and him, her, that's still really confusing in my head as to which pronoun to use, and I'm not even the type of person that normally pays attention to that, but just, yeah, crazy. So the idea of using the fact that they were the princess to unseat the wizard is a great idea. A political power play. Unfortunately, political power plays need physical backing. And as long as Dorothy's around, and I'm still of the belief she's the beast from above, and as long as Glenda and Lucas, or whatever he's going by, yeah, names are weird in this, Scarecrow, I guess, are running around, there's a lot of questions as to what's going to happen. I mean, seriously, how much power can Glenda bring to the field? How much magic does she have access to? And then there's always Emin, the cowardly lion who slayed the former king and queen. I mean, there's just so much going on, and as we build to the end of the episode, the question of who can you trust and whose side are you really on, and who's on your side, just keeps coming up and up. And you know what? I know whose side I don't want to be on. The Wizard of Oz. So let's talk about just how messed up the wizard is. The wizard hires assassins. He turns knights from their lords and has them kill them in their back. But then he promotes science. And his whole thing is that science is better than magic. And of course, the reason for this is because science is predictable and can do just as much. Well, maybe not just as much. See, there's the trick. His giants aren't mechanical. Well, they're somewhat mechanical, I'm sure, but they're not tech. They're still magic. He needs an animating magical force. And why is that? Well, I think anyone that's ever paid attention to any sci-fi knows that. Because at the end of the day, we don't have giant mechs in the real world, and he definitely didn't have the tech to duplicate everything we have in the real world. If you notice, Oz isn't exactly overrun with smartphones and computers and I don't know what else are amazing, cars and planes and computers and whatever, iPads, but instead is overrun still with magic and a level of technology that is about on par with the Renaissance level, which is amazing, but nowhere near as amazing as what Dorothy can do with those ruby gloves and very little training, and nowhere near as powerful as an army of witches, which is what's coming for him thanks to the Witch of the West, who I guess could free the ones at the East imprisoned. But now I want you to think about that too. With an army of wizards, can you overthrow people with guns? Is guns enough to even those odds? And you want to know the truth? I don't even know for sure which way I'd side on that. When science and tech mash, I always tend to think magic has the advantage. But tell me what you think down below, and maybe we'll talk about it next week. In the meantime, there's just a little more to go over. You know, like the whole last half of the episode. So the tragedy that is our Tin Man continues on. You have to remember, Jack was responsible for his best friend slash first crush, Tib, dying. Well, sort of. But Tib was pushed Jack, and there was a whole lot going on. Now he had to shoot Lady Eve. Why? Because he was trying to stop Lady Eve from being screwed over by the wizard. Why did the wizard want to screw her over? Because he wants the guns. It's all about the guns. Meanwhile, the Wicked Witch of the West is put on trial. Well, sort of trial by the other witches for her compliance in their capture. And it makes perfect sense if you think about it. Although I don't like them calling her the wizard's whore. That didn't quite sit right with me. Until Tib saves the day. And it's kind of funny that Tib does by becoming the queen. Because that carries the whole theme of who do you trust a little bit further, as she has to earn their trust. Meanwhile, we find out just how much we can't trust Lady Eve, because Lady Eve wasn't who we thought she was. And because of that, that makes Jack question who he can trust. Can he even trust himself? Is he a real boy, or is he Pinocchio? And then, of course, the ending. Oh boy, the ending with Dorothy showing up with the Colossus. Join me back here next week for the season finale. And for now, like and share and subscribe to help me out as I'm trying to build this community. Because we're about to come to the mother of all ends of Emerald City and see exactly how it handled the heart of its story as we try to traverse the heart of all the stories we tell. See you next week, and thanks for watching.